Tiffany Shlain, one of the Bay Area's most distinguished movie directors. How many movies have you made, Tiffany?
8, almost 9, but 8, yeah.
Almost.
Well, I have a new one premiering, a short film, so it's still about to come out.
So, Tiffany, you're also an internet activist, internet expert. You founded the Webby Awards. How has the internet changed the movie business?
Oh, it's completely changed everything. I mean, when I studied, I went to UC Berkeley and studied film theory, but then I went to NYU and studied on a 16mm camera and editing bay. And so in my lifetime, I kind of learned on this one system, and now it is just completely different how I make movies. And most of my films are made from archival and animation. So I used to go through old dusty bins looking for old footage to re-edit, and now I go on the web and I search, archival shot from the 20s, and I can see like 20 to 40 shots to choose from. So the way I write the script is totally different. I always have co-writers on my script, so we use Google Docs. We are writing a script in real time as we're in different places. It's an amazing experience. It's like you're doing the tango with words. And then the way we look for shots is all on the internet. And we have access to everything. And I have fantasies that everything on YouTube will be HD and easy copyright issues, because it's like I'm a kid in a candy store with how much it's available. So the way I make them, and then the way you get them out in the world. Like, it used to be this bottleneck where there was a few distributors and they had all the relationships with their viewers. And I have so many wonderful supporters of my films that they're with me. They're like on my Facebook page. I can have direct contact with them. They reach out to all of their networks when my movies come out. So it's like the whole experience. In this new film, we're going to have, we crowdsource. There's a short film. I have a theatrical film, Connected, premiering across the country this fall, and I'm making a short film that really kind of goes with it. And we posted a script on the internet. It's called A Declaration of Interdependence. And people all over the world sent artwork and images of this 1-minute script. And then we edited it all together. We're about to premiere it in New York at Interdependence Day. The day we premiere it, we're going to put it online and ask people through this community called .sub to translate it into 100 languages. So we crowdsource the creation, and we're going to crowdsource its ability to be translated all over the world. So this is so exciting to me. It's like the combination of film and the internet and activism all together, working to make the world better. Hopefully.
And are you making a living?
Oh, yeah. I have a staff. Oh, yeah. I also believe that, I think artists in general need to just also be business people. I think that's just as important as the art classes and film classes, that people need to be taking classes on the internet, distribution. They need to know this stuff. A lot of filmmakers even are scared to use it or don't know how to use it or have other people do it for them. And you gotta get your hands in, because you can make a living. You can be incredibly empowered by your supporters. There's lots of ways people are raising money through their community, through Kickstarter and Indiegogo. But yeah, I make a living, and I have a staff with benefits and health insurance, and yeah, we run a film studio that uses all the technologies available. Our new film will have a mobile phone app. We're doing all this cool texting and activism, so yeah.
What advice would you give? There are going to be a lot of people in the audience who would like to make a movie, who perhaps are making a movie, but still aren't sure about financing, about realizing revenue. What are the 2 or 3 really important things that you would remind people about to focus on?
The power of the network, that there are people in your email list, in your Facebook group, that want to help you. I think people always forget that, it seems like this intimidating thing. I remember when I first entered my first film to Sundance, I didn't know anyone. I think people have these illusions that there's all these networks that you have to know. You don't. The gates are open right now, especially with the internet. You can Facebook and email and tweet people that are very high up if you want to try to connect with them. But it's your community that's going to help you. Who cares more about your success than your family and friends? They're all on your email. So reaching out to them, I want to make a movie, I'm raising money, could you give $10, $20, $30? Can you support me in this? I think people always forget what's closest to them in getting the word out. But also what I said previously is really learning about all these new tools, learning about business. There's a lot of business side to filmmaking, and I think it needs to be required that you also know how to balance a budget and know how to raise money and all of these things. So unless you have a good producer. But a lot of people are doing all of those roles, so I think everyone should kind of be well-versed in both the art side and the business side.
How much do your movies cost?
It's different. It depends if you're talking about the feature or the short.
Well, the movie that's coming out next week, Connected, how much did that cost?
It cost $700,000 to make. And we raised money both from foundations and grants and donors and investors. And then we also raised money to get the movie out. Oh, so that's my other piece of advice, is that a lot of filmmakers, they'll, like, let's say they get to a film festival, Sundance or whatever, wherever they premiere their film, and they are so exhausted and they've spent all their money and resources to get to that moment. But that, you need to reserve just as much energy in getting your film out into the world as you did making it. So when you look at your budget, put 50% into making it, and even your energy allocation. And then you need another 50% for getting that film out there, because no one cares about that movie as much as you do. No one knows how to get it out better than you do. And I think a lot of people think it's all about making the film. But you get to be just as creative today with all of these tools. Most of them are free. We're living in this age where so many of these tools are free right now that you can play with and experiment, because everyone's in beta. And so I think knowing that the distribution is not something you want to hand off. You know, I'm working with both a traditional theatrical distributor, but we're doing all the super fly, tricky experiments. We're throwing spaghetti against the wall, seeing what sticks, because we can. And so try everything out also.
What's missing in the ecosystem at the moment? There are lots of entrepreneurs out there who would like to develop applications or new businesses for this evolving new movie business. What's missing?
We need a really good weekend conference with the filmmakers and entrepreneurs. I say that as if I'm committing to it, which normally my other life would. I'm so busy right now, but we do need that.
What do you, different from Sundance?
I think it could happen at Sundance. It could happen at Tribeca. I think it could happen, but I think you're right. You totally nailed it. It's about bringing all these entrepreneurs that are trying to think of the next big thing. And, you know, it was for a while the music industry, and then it's the film industry. There's a lot of focus on how we're going to change distribution and fix things and create tools. And the more that we can interface and bump up against each other, these different perspectives, I think that's where real innovation is going to happen. But as we saw with the music industry, it's completely changed. And the film industry is, you know, I mean, it is going through a major transformation right now. But that, to me, these periods are always very exciting when there's not a lot of rules. And there are some rules. I mean, like I said, I'm doing a traditional theatrical release of my feature documentary, but we're doing a lot of things to augment it and along with it.
I've talked to a lot of filmmakers who are perhaps less optimistic than you. Jason Reitman, for example, the director of Up in the Air, is very worried about piracy. He argues that the piracy is essentially stopping the development of new talent. Does piracy worry you?
Well, it's interesting because you just mentioned, obviously, that's a huge Hollywood film with a huge budget, lots more zeros than my films. So I can imagine, you know, you have a lot more of that, you're going to be more concerned. But
well, even Andy Timmer I've talked to. I mean,
Andy's great. Yeah.
She worries also about piracy.
Well, I mean, it's interesting. I wrestle with that too, because, you know, there's some schools of thoughts, and my last film that premiered at Sundance was called The Tribe, and it was also available when we gave it away for free. Our sales went way up, and we did experiments. We took it off, sales went down. We put it back for free, sales went up. So, but I make a whole like discussion kit that goes with my movies. So it's not just about the movie; it's all these kind of other things that go with it. So I go back and forth. I mean, obviously with this film, with my new feature that's coming out, it is about scarcity, right? Because it's going to be in theaters, and that's the only way you can see this movie. You have to, you know, buy an educator kit if you want it any other way. So I am holding the windows, which kind of surprised me because my other films, I've let everything be released at once. But I understand and respect the value of, you need to see it in a theater. And I actually think that this film, Connected, is a lot about experiencing it with other people. It's a richer experience. And some films, I don't think, need that. You can watch it on your own, and it's just as valuable. So Piracy. I think filmmakers are going to have to think about what are the other experiences that they can't duplicate so easily. And will your real fans and supporters support you in other ways? But yeah.
And Tiffany, for people who want to get hold of you, what's the best way to contact you?
Best way is on our Facebook film page, which is through Facebook Connected the Film. I'm on there every day. There's a lot of dialogue. We post links about filmmaking in the internet, about connectedness in the 21st century, but there's a really rich community over there, rich in thought. Yeah, that's the best way. I'm on Twitter at Tiffany Shlain, Shlain.
And you invite people to contact you, anyone?
Yeah, anyone. Oh, yeah, I do. The gates are open, right?
Well, thank you so much for appearing on TechCrunch TV.
Thank you for having me.